In the dying light of an ancient world, the wind carried whispers of fear across the endless savanna. Fire was the only spark of life the Ulums could cling to.
They did not know how to create fire, only how to keep it alive. And keeping it alive was as hard as guarding their very souls.
Without fire, the night would swallow them whole. In this ancient world, even warmth itself was a precious gift. They knew a single strong wind could erase the future of their entire tribe.
The sun had not yet died, yet the darkness spread faster than fear itself. And then, danger swept in like a raging storm.
They had no time to understand. Only fear moved them. And then, that shadow pushed its way into their lives. Wagaboo, the tribe forged from hunting, dominance, and raw violence. They charged in like a pack of starving beasts. Everything shattered in the space of a single breath. Pain and cries merged together, making the very earth tremble. And in that chaos, the worst finally happened. Their only hope slipped beyond their grasp. In an instant, their light vanished. Without fire, they had nothing to stand against the night. Fear thickened around them, as heavy as the night itself. In that moment, Ulums understood. Without fire, they would vanish from the world.
Without fire, it was as though their souls had been stripped away, leaving only the darkness to surround them.
Their eyes met in utter despair, as if death was drawing closer with every breath. Those scattered cries cut through their hearts like a silent blade. As the one who had endured the most winters, he knew they could no longer wait for miracles. In those weary eyes lived the fear of a man who might witness his entire tribe fade from existence. And then, he made the most important decision of his life. 3 of the strongest men, the final sparks of hope for Ulums. Now, the mind that would guide their path. Amukar, the strength that never tires. And Gao, the pure and loyal heart. They placed their entire future into the hands of these 3 humble men. Naya understood. This was not a journey. This was a mission. They carried little with them, except their unwavering resolve. The first step is always the heaviest. Every step meant facing the dangers of the wild.
The cold mud reminded them that the path to life is never easy.
And ahead lay a land no Ulums had ever dared to walk. Silence, yet inside them, Fear was screaming. Courage often begins with a single step. The journey for fire truly began at that very moment. Dusk fell, carrying the first storm that would test them. Nature shews no mercy, especially to the weak.
The cold bit into their skin, making every step feel as heavy as stone. But the next roar did not belong to the sky.
Those were the footsteps of a giant. And then it appeared. The ruler of the frozen forests. The mighty, woolly mammoth. It looked at them the way a giant looks at creatures meant to be crushed. There was no choice left but to run. This beast, each step was an earthquake. They ran, fleeing the death right behind them. But the mammoth was not ready to give up. One moment slower, and they would be crushed beneath it. Hope opened right before their eyes. They gathered every last drop of strength for one final sprint. The fury of a giant beast echoed through the forest. They survived by a breath fragile enough to break. But this was only the beginning of their quest for fire. The deeper they went, the forest grew wetter, darker, and deadlier. Their breath curled into the cold air, like the whisper of fear itself. From within the darkness, every sound pulled their senses tight as a drawn bow. Then came the scream, more terrifying than any premature of the wild. Kazam! Beings half man, half beast, ruled by instinct and frenzy. They charged like starving beasts, untouched by even the idea of fear. They ran, clawing for every breath, fighting death with every desperate stride. Amuka carved a path forward with the strength of a raging wild bull. One wrong step, and death could strike in an instant. To survive, they were forced to do what instinct itself recoiled from. Exam hunted not with thought, but with unrestrained madness. Niall felt each heartbeat inside him, every sound a threat waiting to betray his life. One strong breath, and he would be discovered. The madness in Kazam's eyes was fierce enough to make the forest itself recoil. And in that moment, a new horror revealed itself. Ika, the girl whose eyes carried the fire of survival.
In her eyes, a silent plea for life flickered.
Neo knew a single mistake would mean death for them all. Chaos erupted around them, like a storm unleashed in the dark. Ika rose from the darkness, and the escape began. Xam sensed their prey slipping away, and madness erupted like a beast unleashed. They ran on the edge of life and death, every heartbeat ready to burst.
One moment too slow, and death would be right behind them.
Amukar fought like a raging bull, powerful, brutal, and without hesitation. Gao was not strong, but loyalty made him fearless. Ika led them toward hope, a place untouched by Kazama's darkness. The narrow passage became a doorway to salvation, cutting them off from Kazam's darkness. The light outside shone like a new promise of life. Ivaka, a different world. Brighter, stronger, and far more civilized. They arrived in a place that feared strangers, yet knew how to judge the heart.
He means no harm. The others, the Ulams, we are not a threat to your people.
Ika's words began to soften the eyes that once held only doubt. And it was that flame that Nea could not look away from. He asked for no food, no shelter. He asked to learn the fire. What Neo saw felt like a miracle. Fire was no longer taken from nature, but born from human hands. In Nea's eyes, the whole world seemed reborn. Ika guided his hands, as if passing down the secret of life itself. His hands blistered, stung, stained with earth. Yet he refused to stop. Within the glow of the fire, Naya found a bond beyond instinct. Naya kept turning the wood, even as pain burned through his hands. Every turn of the wood was a vow whispered to his own heart. And then, a spark touched his hands like a miracle. A tiny spark, yet bright enough to light his entire world. In that quiet moment, their hearts drew closer than ever before. Ika placed the new fire in his hands, as if giving him a piece of her own heart. She understood, and so did he. Naya's fate was not meant to stay here. They departed, carrying the fire and the blessing of a heart left behind. They crossed the forest, returning to those who waited for them. But fate had one final trial waiting for them. Wagabu, the bringers of pain, had returned. But this time, Nea carried the weapon of the gods. The fire spread, casting terror upon those who once stole their hope. They no longer fought for themselves, but for an entire tribe waiting for the fire.
Gao, and you the smallest of them, Pain, became the shield for his brothers.
The fire did not just save them, it gave them the strength to triumph.
The road home had never looked so beautiful.
They returned, carrying the light the tribe believed was lost forever. Naya raised his hands, beginning a new miracle. It was the moment humanity stepped into a new age.